Well, hello there, guys. Hi. Hello. Hi there. Last time you saw him, he was in my big fat belly. And he's out. My little quarantine baby. It was about 5 months ago since I last talked to you guys. I last gave you guys an update. I think I was 39 weeks. I was praying that I didn't have to get induced. And so I don't know. I guess I'll just start catching you up. So he's out, and I'm just going to give you an update on what's been going on and how it all went with how different it was being during giving birth during a pandemic. It was crazy. It was very different than my other two experiences with my other two boys. So I think last time I talked to you guys, I was 39 weeks, and I was praying that I didn't have to get induced that Friday. So ended up I did. I got that the Foley bulb on Thursday. So I had to go in by myself, got the Foley bulb, went out to my car. I went into contractions like immediately, and I was in so much pain. I sat in the parking structure for 2 hours. I couldn't drive. I didn't know what to do because I couldn't drive, and my husband was watching my other two kids, and I were in the middle of a pandemic. I didn't know what to do. So I finally, after 2 hours, my husband's like, just call labor and delivery. Oh my gosh, like, what are you doing? I couldn't even think straight because it's like you can't think when you're in that much pain. So I called labor and delivery, and they were like, come back in. So I had to walk back in. It's so embarrassing, like walking by yourself in this mask in labor. You're like, I don't know what people are thinking. It was crazy. So I went back in, was there for quite a while, and my contractions stalled out, so that sucked. So anyways, they sent me home. So about 1 o'clock in the morning that night, I went into labor, like full on labor. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm kind of slipping into labor. It was like, whoa, I'm in labor. So we drove to the hospital. They told us to, like, for me to come up by myself. And my husband was like, yeah, no, that's not happening. So I couldn't even walk. I was so clearly in labor. So we got our bags. We knew we had to bring everything up all at once because once you got in, you can't leave. So my husband, we had all this stuff. We had our masks, and we were walking in, and they didn't turn my husband away because clearly I was not okay, and they just let us go in, and they checked us into triage. So when we were in triage, we were there for 5 hours, like no joke, 5 hours, because they did not have a labor and delivery room available for us. Can you even believe that? It was really hard. So 5 hours we waited, and we heard next door, this woman, she was like screaming, moaning, and then we heard a baby cry. So yeah, we were like, oh my God, please don't let that happen to us. So yeah, she gave birth in triage. So there we were, 5 hours. Good thing I was afraid that I was gonna have to give birth in a mask. But I didn't have to, because when I got there in triage, they gave me a COVID test. And you guys, I had no idea how far my nasal cavity went. It was like this thing goes up your nose. Like it feels like it touches the back of your skull. It was crazy. Oh gosh, my hair looks awful. I've aged like 26 years in the last 5 months. Haven't we all? So anyways, I got tested, and they swabbed my throat. I'm not like a big gagger, so that wasn't that big of a deal. But the nose thing, I was like, I wasn't expecting it to like, it was like Mary Poppins' bag. Like it just kept like going up and going up, and I was like, oh my God, is that okay? So yeah, so I was negative, praise God. So I was negative, so I didn't have to wear a mask, but my husband had to wear a mask the entire time. So, a long story short, I ended up hemorrhaging during delivery. So they put the baby on me, and then very quickly the room changed. the vibe. And they took the baby away from me really quickly and gave him to my husband. And everyone started running around and hooking me up to stuff. And my world kind of went in slow motion. I could tell I was like about to pass out. So it was a whole thing. Kind of a life-altering experience for sure. To kind of feel your life slipping away like really slowly and calmly. It was weird. So anyways, I ended up staying in the hospital for 4 days, which was pretty awful because they have been trying to get pregnant ladies, deliver and get them out during the pandemic. So I ended up having to stay for 4 days, which obviously didn't want to, but I really needed to. I ended up having a blood transfusion. So like when I was laying down, just lifting my head, like if I was laying down flat and I would just lift my head, I would pass out. It was crazy. It's kind of like one of those things that's hard to describe, but they would put those things under my nose to like keep me from fainting. So yeah, once I got the blood transfusion, I felt better. I got 2. They take a long time. I can't remember. I think it was like 6 hours each that you're just sitting there. And it's just really weird. It's very bizarre. So in all those 4 days that I was there, my husband could not leave. Like nobody could leave. So it was like a time warp. And my poor husband slept on this little tiny thing. It was crazy. He couldn't even leave for, one of the things that were like, oh my gosh, you don't think of is coffee. Like he couldn't even get a cup of coffee in the morning. So he got this like crazy coffee headache. Oh, so all of it was just crazy. And I'm so glad it's over. Anyways, 4 days later, finally got released. But then it took about 3 months recovery, till I actually felt, somewhat normal. I was really dizzy, had trouble breathing. It doesn't help your anxiety because that's like some of the signs of COVID, but so it kind of catches you up. So here we are 5 months later. I never in a million years thought that we would still be here in quarantine. So a few things that has happened is that I went to go, we went somewhere and we haven't been anywhere. So we were going somewhere where my kids needed shoes. Like you were going to actually get out of the car. I don't know if it was a park or something. I can't remember. But so my kids put on their shoes and none of their shoes fit them. I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like you guys need new shoes. We haven't worn shoes in months that none of your shoes fit you. So that was crazy. I was like, wow. I'm sure like to all of you guys it feels the same. Like this is some dream and we haven't quite woken up yet. Like, is this really happening? When is this going to be over? We have no idea. Another thing is that I almost died and I have not seen a doctor since. Like it's been 5 months. I never have seen a doctor. So like basically your like postpartum recovery was like a phone call. How are you feeling? Like, oh, I feel like crap. Okay, well, are you dying? Nope. Okay. See you later. You're checked out. So that was interesting. It was kind of like, oh gosh, I hope I'm okay. Who knows? I mean, I'm okay. But yeah, that was weird. Another weird thing was the birth certificate, like getting his birth certificate. Normally you would go like pick it up at a window. And this is like, you had to do it all online. So that took forever to get his birth certificate, like several months, till I received it. Another weird thing is that, he hasn't been, like, normally we would like go places, like we go to Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, and the fair, like we do stuff as a family, and this baby's been nowhere. Like he's never seen a grocery store. We haven't been to a grocery store. I haven't been to a grocery store since March, when I was pregnant. I like stopped when we locked down, and like totally didn't see anybody, didn't go anywhere, just to get through this whole thing. So yeah, he hasn't been held by anybody. He hasn't seen anybody. He hasn't had like a first cold because, oh my gosh, how horrifying. Is it COVID? Is it not COVID? None of us have been sick or seen anybody or done anything, been in a grocery store. Like, it's pretty crazy, and I'm so ready for this to be over. I know we all are. So there's the wrap up on the pandemic pregnancy. We got through it. Yay! Thanks for watching. Thanks for being there with me. Got myself a little quarantine pandemic baby. And all right, back to making silly, crazy videos with my kids. Bye, guys. Thank you.